What's happening, everybody? Papa and Silver hanging out with you. If you're watching us on YouTube or twitch.tv/thesportsleader or the KNBR app where you can see our stream, I think that's the perfect attire there by my co-host, because not only is he representing the Giants, and Ryan Walker and Tony G are going to join us coming up in just a bit. I love that SF hat because the flames coming out.
Fire!
Is that like a wood-fired oven? How you cook
Well,
the pizza
I was
up?
looking for, you would think an Italian-American like myself would have some kind of a pizza hat or a T-shirt for my travels. I don't go to Italy nearly as much as the great Tony Gimignani, but I decided to go. It is fire. When you think of San Francisco pizza, you think of the 13-time world champion. And I wonder how did he get that mantle? 13-time world champion, the great Tony Gimignani. But he was out just today with Ryan Walker and Logan Webb of the Giants, two of the great pitchers in baseball, pitching pizzas. Logan Webb, Ryan Walker, and the aforementioned San Francisco legend Tony Gimignani. They headed the George Mark Children's House today to recognize the 9th annual seasonal pizza fundraisers benefiting, and they made a couple of pies. And Tony was, I would actually like to go into Tony Gimignani's and get a sampling of how you do the pizza tossing demonstration with the one and only Tony Gimignani. But yes, his pizza in San Francisco, no matter where you go, in North Beach, all of his locations, at Oracle Park, anywhere, his pizza is fire.
Yeah, we're going to have them joining us in just a moment. Good chance to tell you that you're listening to KNBR and KNBR FM San Francisco, the sports leader, a Cumulus Media Station. Final hour coming up. Robert Ory is going to be joining us at 1:15. We'll get you ready for Game 3 of Giants-Padres as the Giants look to get at least one in the series here. But I am told now that we are good. So joining us both on the Yuma guest line, we're double dipping, is Giants relief pitcher Ryan Walker and the one and only 13-time world champion Tony Gimignani. Thank you both so much for being here. Greg Papa, Greg Silver out here, your Giants flagship station, KNBR. And since we don't all talk over each other, I guess first I just want to welcome in Ryan and say thank you for your time. I know it's been a tough week for the team result-wise, but it's been fun to watch you adjust back into a high-leverage relief role and see that success. So tell us about the pizza, though. How's this Alfredo sauce going for you against your teammate Logan Webb? We got you.
Ryan, you there?
All right, let's give that another try on the connection. Tony, do we have you as well? Oh man, we got a dueling phone line
Please
right
stand
now.
by.
This is like Big Al's tin can. Yeah, it's fighting.
Well, this is the first time, and they're calling from separate locations. Tony Gimignani's driving the pizza mobile, and Ryan's going to the yard, so they're in separate locations. They called in separately. Is that Gimignani? I can hear the cackle in your voice, Tony G. How are you?
Yeah, you got it, Gimignani. You got it. Good to hear from you, Papa.
Yeah, good to hear from you. I do want to ask you how you got this 13-time world champion. Who the hell you beat out? Where have you gone along the globe? But just tell me about the event today involving Ryan Walker and Logan Webb. How did that go down, and what happened?
It was great. They came out to the George Mark Children's House. We taught some pizzas. I was teaching them how to actually toss something. So it was funny. Walker was a little nervous up there. He dropped it once. We won't talk about that too much, but we were having a good time. Webb's always is always great to work with. We raise money. You buy a slice at Slice House. $1 goes to George Mark. This year we're going to be going over 69,000. Was last year. We're going to definitely hit over that mark. And over the years, we've had Belt, we've had Panic, we've had a lot of them. Wood was there last year with us doing this event, and now Walker and Webb. And, which one's the best? Everyone was asking me today. Which pizza is better? Who has the better pie? I'll let the customers decide. Walker's white pizza is pretty awesome. He loves mushrooms. He loves Alfredo sauce. We got together. We made a pizza with apple with smoked bacon, some onions. It's delicious.
Hey, we love that very much. Have we made the connection with Ryan Walker? Ryan, apologies for failing the first time, but great to have you on, Papa and Silver KNBR. And, we could talk baseball in a bit, but more importantly, I think we got to talk a little bit of pizza. So, Tony G was kind of busting your chops a little bit, said you dropped it once, but it's also said the white pizza, pretty darn good. What made you go Alfredo sauce and go against your teammate Logan Webb here?
Yeah, I mean, I dropped it once, but Tony won't tell you that he nudged me. You know, he tried to embarrass me, but I was pretty good at spinning it. I'm not gonna lie.
He was.
The pizzas. I mean, I've always liked the white sauce pizza, the Alfredo sauce pizza. So I wanted to kind of go something different, kind of throw something out there. And it turned out incredible. I mean, Tony really knows what he's doing. And in my opinion, I think it's better than Logan's, but you know, to each their own.
Webby's listening out there. He may call in as well. So you balked on the pizza toss, but I remember my grandmother as a kid, Tony, teaching me a little bit how to do that. It's not easy. I'm watching Stanley Tucci's tour of Italy, and they're all flipping the pizza. So what is the proper technique, Jim and Yanni, on flipping the dough in the air, and you're spinning it like a basketball on your finger? How do you do that?
Yeah, you kind of do some Steph Curry meets Michael Jordan a little bit. I think when you throw pizzas across the shoulders, through the back, you know, things like that, 2 at a time. But you know, when you toss it, when people say, why do you toss it? 1, to get to the size that you want. 2, to make it thicker on the end and thinner in the middle. And then 3 would be to actually toss it. It actually dries out the outer portion, making it crunchy on the outside and kind of light and fluffy in the middle. So there's 3 reasons. When Walker was up there, Walker was like, I want to get this down. I want to learn this. So you could tell he's competitive. I mean, he's looking at Webb. He's on, I want to be better than you. It was pretty funny.
I mean, yeah, there's no doubt that I would expect some good competition between a high leverage reliever and an ace of a staff. So, Ryan, I got to ask you, though, it's not surprised that there's a little bit of competition between teammates right now as the team looks to be winning on the diamond. But did you learn anything new about yourself or Logan Webb in doing an activity that was competitive but outside of baseball?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just kind of in our nature, right? You know, we want to be the best at anything we do, whether it's baseball or tossing dough in the air. Like, we want to win, and it's always just fun and games, you know. It's always fun competition. So definitely learn our true nature there.
Tossing dough in the air, a little different than making it rain. So with your pitching technique, Ryan, when you're doing the pizza toss, do you line up like you're going to the third base dugout and you're kind of looking that way, and then you come across the body and flip it in the air? What was the technique that Tony taught you today?
You know, I didn't do that. I did everything he said, but I didn't set up in my stance. I think I probably would have perfected it if I stood in my stance. You know, maybe we'll try that next time.
Yeah, I think that's
how was
you're
Webby,
right
by
up
the way?
there, you know.
So who was better, Tony, Webby or Walker? Can you pick one, or you don't want to do that?
Webb should have more experience at tossing, because, you know, we've been doing this together for a little bit. But I think Walker was a little bit better today, I think. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, when you're in a high leverage relief situation, that's a little bit different. You can't have an adjustment period. You just got to come in and immediately execute. So that doesn't surprise me. Tony, we got to ask you, though. We were talking about the fact that you're a 13-time world champion, and then naming some other multi-champions, Bill Russell, Phil Jackson, they got 11 rings. That's more than they can carry on all 10 of their fingers. You know, Rafael Nadal, as a texter pointed out, won 14 French Opens. Joey Chestnut, 16 mustard belts. The 13, where does this all come from? How many in the United States? Is this a, you know, global, all over the world kind of teaching? I want to get a little bit more details on this as we categorize your greatness.
Yeah, there's been about a half a dozen in the U.S. and Vegas, and then there were others in Italy and Naples, up in Parma, up in Salsa Maggiore, Italy, and then Portugal as well. So I won a number of different world titles, and not just acrobatics, but in cooking too. And then there's a few international ones that I won titles in that I don't even add them as world competitions, but everyone says I should have. So you could say 15, but I'll give you 13.
Pretty impressive on the resume, I got to say. So, Ryan, you're a good sport, my friend. After the way the game went last night, I knew you and Logan would show up. You're great sports, but to come on the air, just one thought about where the team is at last night. And just starting with your role change, it was so impressive to go from being the closer to all of a sudden getting thrown in the fire. Friday night in Miami, you're coming in as a true fireman with runners on base in the middle of the inning. You did it as well on Sunday, and you had some snappy outings. Now, you've done that earlier in your career, but that quick adjustment from starting the ninth inning as the closer to being the fireman and maybe coming in the middle of the inning in the sixth inning with runners all over the bases? How do you adjust to that?
I just go with the same mindset. As I told them when Doobie took over the closing role, I'm going to compete wherever they put me. And that's really all that matters. Going in there, yeah, it was different. The heart was pounding a little differently. But I stuck to my strengths. I stick to what I'm good at. And, I'm here to really just do what the team needs to do to get the job done,
Yeah, Ryan, just to kind of follow up on that, it's been fantastic to watch the way you've just immediately thrived switching into a new role. And we talked to Susan Slusser, who was just commending the way that you're able to adjust. But have you been told directly to be prepared to close possibly? I mean, I know at the beginning of the year when there were days where maybe there was a save required 3 days in a row, Duvall would come in and get that third one. So I was just wondering if maybe you got to be prepared to come in for some spot closing opportunities. And, we saw you in Monday in a extra innings type of role where it was a little bit more the one inning, what you were used to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, when DB goes back to back, and it all depends on situations and stuff. But when he's on those down days, yeah, I believe I'll be probably coming in and doing the closing role that day. So we're still there. We still got that opportunity, which is great. But like I said, I'm here to do what they want me to do, and we're going to strive in each and every position possible. So, the adjustment's good. I think it puts the team in the best position to win.
Yeah, you're a good sport for coming on today. We thank you so much after a couple of tough losses. And Tony, we see you all the time. We see you at Giants games. We see you at Warrior games. We see you in Niners games, both at Levi's. I remember you showing up on the sideline in Pittsburgh for opening day a couple of years ago when Brandon Ayuk went off. So whenever we mention your spots that you love Bay Area sports, I mean, you're all over in all these sporting venues with the Slice House, but you love Bay Area sports, don't you?
I get that from my dad. My dad was a big time Raiders, Niners, everything, Warriors. He just loves sports. We talk about Giants in the morning. That's telling those guys. I wake up at 5 o'clock. I run. I talk to my dad. We talk about the Giants games. We talk about the Niners games. We're always talking sports. So my dad was a big part of that. Montana comes into Tony's. Carmen Policy, old school guys come into Tony's. We get players that come in all the time. JT Snow was in the other night, which was great. A lot of guys. Really, Rich is in there all the time. So it's great to just be in San Francisco and be around it. It's a special place. And these guys are great for coming out. To George Mark, they're playing games. They, like you said, they had a couple tough losses. They came out with the kids today. These kids are, terminally ill or extremely ill, and it's just great that we're making time to do this. So they're great. Couldn't do it without the Giants.
Yeah, no question. And Ryan, we really appreciate you coming on as the team's looking to kind of refocus and turn things around. And I hope that getting to spend some time tossing pizza was a nice little diversion. But either way, you're always welcome on Papa and Silver. Best of luck moving forward with the rest of the season. And as for you, Tony G, now that I'm working with this other Greg all the time, I got to go pay you a visit in the establishment. And we'll chop it up, whether it's Alfredo sauce or red sauce. Got to have some pizza. Never a bad day for it.
Let me know. Reach out to me. Great. Pop always does. Just text me.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
I'm in there once a week, and I like the pizza there, but what my favorite is? The spicy bucatini! Mamma mia! Just love it. So are these going to be available if I go to the Giants game tonight or tomorrow at the Tony Slice House? So I going to be able to order the Webb's double sausage tonight, Tony, or Walker's white pie?
Just
Can I get
Bay
those?
Area location. Just at BayArea Slice House location. Not in the ballpark, but at Slice House location. So, yeah, Mountain View, San Leandro, Walnut Creek, Hay Ashbury, those kind of locations, yeah.
You ever toss pizzas with Jimmy Garoppolo down in Vegas? You teach him to do that down there?
I never did. I remember it came up before, but I never did, So, probably a good thing.
Yeah. The only better-looking Italian than Jimmy G is Tony G.
He's definitely taller, for sure, yeah. Good looking.
Unbelievable. Jim and Yanni, love you, brother. Ryan Walker, thanks for your time, brother. You have a good sport,
All right, guys.
so great
Thank
stuff.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you both.